So I want to talk about an aspect of manifestation that I've kind of summarized, and I used ChatGPT to like summarize my words so it makes logical sense. But I basically ranted for like 5 minutes, and then I had ChatGPT summarize what I said. This is what it is. Then I edited it, of course. Manifestation. Let me wait for this train. All right, that train's practically gone. Manifestation begins with a subtle impulse, a thought or emotion that prompts us to take action, often unconsciously. When someone wants to do something simple, like watch a YouTube video or go to the gym, they follow this impulse without resistance because they believe it's possible and accessible. The action feels effortless because belief aligns with desire, and from there, they naturally carry out the most logical and reasonable steps to fulfill it, like opening an app to watch a video or getting dressed and driving to the gym. However, when it comes to desires with perceived barriers, such as acquiring expensive software, like Character Creator 5, this is specific to me, but like, something that you would consider out of your reach, like getting $10,000 of some sort, something of value that costs money or whatever. If you like music, getting a big song. If you like acting, landing a big movie, whatever. So when it comes to desires with perceived barriers, such as everything that I just named, that same impulse gets blocked by limiting beliefs. I don't have the money. Since they don't believe it's possible, they act in alignment with that non belief, carrying out the most logical and reasonable actions that reinforce their perceived limitation. But if one were to treat the desire for the software or whatever it is you want, like maybe you want to have a big song or get in a big movie, with the same unquestioned belief and emotional certainty as they do with watching a video on YouTube or going to the gym, then logical steps would begin to unfold naturally to bring that reality into being. You are the one telling your own story. You are the one creating the blocks or removing them. Manifestation isn't about forcing reality to change. It's about aligning your belief and emotion and thought so completely that reality has no choice but to follow. You don't manifest what you merely wish for. You manifest what you believe to be true. So that's ChatGPT summarized what I said. Now let me talk in my own words. Basically, for example, you have an impulse to use the bathroom. You have an impulse to go to the gym. You have an impulse to go to the park. It comes in as an impulse. It's a thought, it's an emotion. The thought is, I want to go to the park. In your mind, if you pay attention to it, it's like a vision of the park. It's like a sparked vision, but it's so quickly and it's so subtle that you don't really pay attention to it. And most of the time, people in their daily life, they don't notice that these subtle impulses are going on. And what you're doing is you're carrying out these impulses. For example, I want to go to the park. I want to hit the vape, whatever. You're manifesting this thing, and it's happening subtle in the subtle regions. It's happening. If you become more still and you begin to pay more attention, you see that, well, I have thoughts that make me eat this junk food. I have thoughts that make me relapse on whatever I relapse. And they're impulses, and it's a thought and it's emotion of doing the activity. For example, I'm bored, I want to go open YouTube and watch YouTube videos. It's not something that, it doesn't say that, but it feels like that. It feels like that with whatever addiction or thing that you are like addicted to, or that pops up in your daily life. So when it comes to something that's not in your perceivable reality, for example, let's say you want $10,000. The only reason why you can't just grab $10,000 out of your bank is not because of any reason, to be honest. The only reason is you have this thought and emotion that you believe that you don't have the money. You believe you're poor. And what happens is, for example, I forgot to mention this. Let's go back to the basic thing. You want to go to the park. You have the impulse, park. Now you begin to carry out. Now you believe it's possible to go to the park, probably because you've done it many times before. So you can walk outside and step to the park. And the most logical and reasonable steps will happen in order for you to get to the park. It won't feel like a struggle unless you think it's very hard for you to get your ass up and go to the park, which it could be for some people, like they have a trouble going to the gym. So it's the natural, logical steps will happen in order for you to get to park. So vice like also with wait, let me pause and grab my thoughts. But also, if you get the, let's say, I want to go grab $10,000 out of my bank account. The reason why you might not believe that it's possible is or the reason why it doesn't happen, the reason why you don't go ahead and grab the $10,000 out of your bank account is because you believe you don't. And with this non-belief, you're carrying out the most logical and reasonable steps to prove this non-belief, which is you sit your ass there and you say, I don't have the fucking money, and you complain. So in and of itself, you're manifesting the idea that you don't have $10,000 in your bank account. But hypothetically, if someone were to develop that level of consciousness where they completely drop the idea of them being a brokey and that they don't have the money, and they truly, truly know that they have that money in their bank account, the money is in the bank account. And you will carry out the most logical and reasonable steps to prove that the money is in the bank account. However, the way it fucking happens in life, it's random, bro. It's fucking random. You're not gonna pinpoint how it's gonna happen, but the mind will, life will present to you the most logical and reasonable steps to carry that out. But what's happening is it's presenting the most logical and reasonable steps to carry out your non-belief, which is you believe you're broke, you believe you're a loser. So you wake up like a loser, you wake up like a brokey, and you carry out the most logical and reasonable steps of a brokey. But if you wake up like a rich man, you'll carry out the most logical and reasonable steps of a rich man. A rich man is different for everybody. You could be living in a van and travel the country. That could be a rich man. You could be living in a penthouse. You could be living in a mansion. The idea is that it has to be real right now. And if it's real right now, if you make it real right now, you'll carry out the most logical and reasonable steps to make it a reality. That's how manifestation works. This is how it works. And you can argue with me all you want. You're just proving the theory. You're just proving the law. By you believing and thinking a certain way, you say, oh, this guy's full of shit. You got to actually do something. Well, my nigga, your wish is your command. You just manifested that thing in your reality right now. You believe you got to do all this shit to do something. So you have to do all that shit to do something. And that's how it works, and that's how you stay locked into one dimension of life. Like that's why you see some people, they get so successful so quickly, and other people, they take so long, is because the blocks within their mind, the limiting beliefs, are not there for the people who succeed fast. For the people who take a while, they're sabotaging themselves by carrying out the most logical and reasonable steps of their non-belief. They want to be a social media influencer. They upload videos. They see that it doesn't do good, right? They see that the video doesn't do good. Like with their eyes, right? They see, oh my God, I didn't get any views. And then what happens is it's like a pinch in their heart, like, I'm a loser. I didn't do it. I suck. And then you carry out the most logical and reasonable steps to support that, which they give up, right? More often than not, or they post lackluster stuff. But if you were to tackle that same idea again, and let's say you see, right? This is the thing. The people who succeed, they don't see low numbers. Like a person who's going to succeed or who knows on the trajectory of success will not see low numbers. They will not see low views. Even though the outside world says 0 views, low views, no engagement, that person doesn't see that. What he sees is engagement. What he feels is engagement. What he feels is him already being there. And then life will carry out the most logical and reasonable steps to support what he's seeing, what he's thinking, what he's feeling. Argue all you want. You're just proving the law. Whatever you think, whatever you feel, life's going to carry out the most logical and reasonable steps to support that. You don't believe. You don't have no faith. You need to see shit before it happens, and you'll always be a product of your environment if you live that way. So that's manifestation in a nutshell. I want to get a little more real. I want to talk about something specific that you can't explain and break down, but it's very simple. All this stuff, like all the noise of the thoughts and emotions, sometimes you just want to surrender them and let go. And I will say I've been distracting myself, but when I speak this into existence, I'm reinforcing it. So you know, it's a weird thing to talk about, but I'm aware enough. Like, I want to go back to waking up because I have a dentist appointment, orthodontist appointment, and I don't like being in front of strangers without like dropping all my negative projections. I want to be peaceful in front of people. If I'm not gonna be in front of people, at least let me be agitated by myself. I don't want to put my agitation on others. I don't want that for them, right? So I want to go back to meditating 2 times a day, get some cardio and get some sunlight, and stop, you know, acting off the thought and emotions of, and then carrying out the logical and most reasonable steps of scrolling randomly on the internet, man. You know what I'm saying? And ideally, what I want to do is wake up, upload a video like this, head to the gym, do my cardio, and if not, if I don't wake up immediately, I don't want to use the phone. You know, get my sleep. I don't want to use the phone. I just want to be peaceful. I want to meditate more, honestly. I enjoy meditating. I want to do my pranayama more. I want to do my meditation more. And I want to get more with my being. And if I do want to create something, I want to go deep in this. I want to go deep in this thought and emotion. I want to prove my theory correct about manifestation. And I have nothing to prove. At the end of the day, I have nothing to prove. I have nothing to get. But I prefer to meditate more. I prefer to meditate 2 times a day. You know, I prefer to do deep pranayama. I want to do a meditation, one where with the Miracle of Mind app, and then the second meditation, I want to do a stillness meditation where I just close my eyes and be still. I love those. Those are my passion. So, why I just sit still. I love it. After the pranayama, I just sit still and then think and feel. I want to meditate. I want to drop everything. I want to stay in my awareness. And then after those sessions, I want to think and feel what I want to think and feel. I want to make my dreams a reality right now. And all this YouTube scrolling stuff and all that stuff, I don't care, you know? Anyways, that's what I want to say. And I'm going to shave my beard, actually. I'm going to shave my beard when I wake up. But I'm going to upload this video. Yeah.